Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to make these DIY Dollar Tree autumn napkins. They're completely customizable. I'm going to show you 4 ways, and there's other alternatives, so just stay tuned. First you'll need scissor, the fabric glue, and any sorts of a ribbon or trim that you want, and then this apron from the Dollar Tree. I do have some ribbons that weren't from the Dollar Tree, but what we're going to do is we're going to use them and along with ones from the Dollar Tree. So first thing we want to do is we want to iron the apron. Now, in full disclosure, I made this actually last week, and yesterday or the day before yesterday I saw somebody haul actual napkins from the Dollar Tree. So apparently you can get 2 satin napkins for $1 if you can find them. I have never seen them before. So of course this was already done. So what I'm doing is I've ironed it completely open, and now I'm ironing it in half to get that center crease. That's going to help me make a cut line. We're not going to do any real measuring. We're just going to like cut a square. So then what I've done is I've cut it up as high as I can go. And now I'm going to cut, let's see, I'm trying to get, what I was trying to get, the apron said it was 22 inches by 36 inches. And of course that was including the neck. I was hoping to get 11-inch napkins, 11-inch squares. But it's actually a lot shorter from the armpit to the bottom of the apron than I need. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to make them even, basically. So I've folded the napkins of the apron up, and I'm going to cut from the armpit across just to make like sort of an even rectangle, the best even rectangle I can get. And again, I'm just pressing it. Now put your iron on polyester, because this is made out of polyester. But, you know, honestly, you could skip this step if you want to buy some cloth napkins. This is just a no-sew project with napkins. This is a couple of tricks of how to make napkins with no-sew, and then how to decorate them, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting them into 4 even squares, but then, rectangles I should say. But then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold them into squares, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. But first we're just going to make 4 the best, closest to even pieces we have. And for those of you who don't know how to make a square, and that's going to sound silly, but for those of you who don't know how to make a square out of a rectangle, you basically just take one of the corners and you fold it up to match the shortest side. So like this, see there? And then we're going to cut away all the extra. I actually opted to do one at a time. So what I've done is I folded it up diagonally, and then I folded the diagonal in half so I can get all of the extra in one swift clip. See that? Now this isn't a perfect square, and this isn't a perfect method for this particular very, very bumpy polyester, slippery polyester fabric. But it is what I could do. It is the best that I could do, because about 2 years ago I lost my rotary cutter and I don't have it anymore. So, plus you guys may not have a rotary cutter, so I can show you could do this with a scissor and a straight edge. All right. And I'm just going to copy with all 4. And I was able to get one more. Now that I've made them smaller, I was able to get one more out of the bib of the apron. But I just used that as like the test fabric, because I wanted to decorate these and I wanted to test fabric to make sure that the decorations would not be messed up. Okay. So of course we want to iron them again. But now we're going to take our work surface, and I'm going to show you 4 different ways to edge these without sewing. And they're all going to have a pretty edge. So this is a thin grosgrain ribbon that I had already had in black. They do sell grosgrain ribbon at the Dollar Tree. In fact, we're going to use an ivory one in a minute. But this is just one that I had on hand, and I wasn't going to buy more black ribbon because, boy, I've got more black grosgrain ribbon. I could probably open my own grosgrain ribbon store. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting pieces to fit. I'm adding a strip of this glue, and I'm trying to eyeball a square, because even though that the napkin didn't come out perfectly square, like I said, because it was slippery, I put the trim around in a square. And then what I did was I turned it over, and you put the square on the wrong side. There isn't really a wrong side, so that's why I didn't specify before. But if you're going to use a fabric that has a right and wrong side, you want to glue the first set of ribbons to the wrong side. And then we're rolling them over, and we're creating like a like a trimmed edge. So it's going to be nice and neat. What you're doing is you're going to glue the ribbon down, turn the fabric over, and then fold each piece of ribbon over and then glue it down. Okay, so that's the first edge method. The second one, we're going to take the grosgrain ribbon, we're just going to put it over the edge. Like I said, I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to make like a square. I'm going to create the square out of the ribbon. And then this one, I'm going to miter the overlapped corners. So see this corner here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that on a diagonal. So you see there, I've cut the top ribbon that's going over the top just on a diagonal from where they meet to the corner of the fabric. That's it. And I'm going to repeat that to all 4 corners. And that one will get trimmed up. I'm going to trim up all these at the end. So this is that leaf ribbon that the Dollar Tree came out with this year. And I was trying to figure out, like I really wanted the leaf to hang over the edge of the napkin, but then I thought maybe I would trim back the napkin at the end, and that's what I ended up doing. I ended up making a square out of the ribbon just like I did with the other ribbons to shore up, you know, to square up my napkin. And then I'm going to go back later and I'm going to trim behind the leaves. So to do this conveniently, basically just make sure that you have just glued straight through the center part of the leaves. And for this last one, I'm just going to take that grosgrain ribbon and I'm just going to make a black border like I did with the ivory grosgrain ribbon, and just to show you different variations. Okay, and how it looks with the thin ribbon. Okay, and do the same thing. I make my square, I square up my corners here. And now I'm going to set them all off to dry. And once they're dry, we're going to go trim up all the extra fabric that went past the ribbons, all right? So here's the first one back. This is later, and I'm trimming off, you see I've got the wrong side of the napkin, and I'm trimming off some of the extra fabric. I don't want to show you tediously, watch me do that. So, because this is really about decorating these napkins. Like I said, you can do this technique with any napkins that you purchase, any fabric napkins. What I've done is I've taken a regular notebook and I've just drawn a little triangle of where I want the words to be, and then I'm pre-figuring out the font that I want to use, what I want it to say, and where I want it to be placed. And you can print fonts, you can print words off of the computer, you can print fonts off the computer, letters, you can use stencils, whatever you guys want. I just wanted to be able to show you that this is polyester fabric, and then I've taken Sharpie, and then the fat Sharpie from the Dollar Tree, the fat fake Sharpie, excuse me, and I am using that to print on this fabric, and because it's permanent marker, it won't come off. And that's it. I mean, honestly, it's just that easy. If you can see on the notebook, I basically hand wrote it. I wrote it over in marker so that I could see through the napkin, and then I went over it with the Sharpie, and that was it. Now I'm going to do the next one, and I personally, when I make these for myself, they're going to be 4 of the same napkins. I didn't make an eclectic set, but you could. I just wanted to show you 4 different trim techniques and 4 different writing styles and 4 different things to say. Okay, you can put your monogram on here, you can make them for Christmas, you can make them for happy birthday, grandma, whatever you want to say on these napkins. So now I'm just repeating the same technique, and I've darkened in some lines that I want to make sure I have it spaced where I want it. And I'm using the lines as a guide to just, you know, basically figure out even, to make it level. That's it. Couldn't think of the word level. So here I've decided, oh, no, thanks. Thank doesn't fit. Let's do thanks. Let's pick out something different. And that's what's so great about doing it on the notebook, is that you can just make a mistake and do it again. And one of the things I wanted to show you was this writing technique. This is to do long, thin letters, the long, thin font that comes with today's, you know, fun farmhouse stuff. But basically what you do is you draw all of your vertical lines. If you have something like a U where the vertical line doesn't come all the way to the bottom, you just stop it ahead of time. And then what you do is you could space your letters out evenly and then just draw your horizontal lines, whatever you need. And then once I have that, I've taken the light Sharpie. If you've been with me for a while, you know that this Sharpie is like almost dead, but it's perfect for doing markings on like this. That's why I told my husband, don't throw it out. Dead markers are great for shading and great for marking stuff that you don't want it to be super inked. So just taking this Sharpie, I'm going over the word thankful. That's what I decided to put on this particular napkin. And again, just a different font and a different writing technique and a different trim technique. If you guys only knew, I have like 35 white napkins, fabric napkins in my, buffet, just in case I have a catering event. Just kidding. But I wanted to just show you guys to make napkins you can easily from an apron from the Dollar Tree. Okay. Now this is the leaf bordered napkin, and this was a little bit more difficult to trim. You definitely have to take your time. What I had to do was I had to basically pull back the fabric and basically cut behind one leaf at a time. It was very tedious, and I'm going to do you guys a favor and edit out me doing it all for you, okay? Okay, so now that we're done, let's go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to trace the triangle of where we want to do our writing and darken in some highlights, some level lines. And that's why I like to use a line notebook, because it makes it so much easier. You already have lines on there. And now I'm just doing a script. Okay, so you guys have been asking me about this great penmanship that I have. I really have been writing stuff for people for years. I mean, I probably had nice penmanship in high school, but I had terrible penmanship when I was growing up. I mean, it wasn't fantastic, trust me. It's just with practice. I look at the fonts online and I try to copy them, I emulate them, and I try to, figure out where the loops are. And what I have found out from this farmhouse style, and I mentioned it the other day, is it's not neat. It's not, the letters aren't lined up, and it's supposed to look messy. So just go with it, Trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself to do it on the pumpkin or on the napkin, do it on paper 20, 35 times. Do it until you feel comfortable with the strokes. And that's really what it is. I feel comfortable with the strokes. It's just something that I've been doing for a while, and I feel comfortable doing it. And then I decided to pick this. Basically, this is just a regular type of calligraphy type of print. It's nothing fancy. It's just got little loopies on the bottom. And I tried to do a capital letter. So I wanted to mix it up for you. Some that have all lowercase, some that have some caps, some that have all caps, and this is them. So I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. Like I said, it really wasn't necessarily about making the napkins as much as it was showing you how you can take any piece of fabric, edge it with some fabric glue and trim, and then you can make your own, and then decorate them how you wish. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and share it with friends and family. And don't forget to join the family and click the subscribe button and hit that little notification bell, and YouTube will YouTube will let you know every time I upload a video. And as always, you take care. God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Hi guys, I just wanted to pop in here to tell you, a lot of you have been asking about the fabric glue from the Dollar Tree, and I wanted to share with you that I washed everything. Now that I'm done making all my videos, I wanted, full disclosure, let you know that the fabric glue stuck very well. Went through the washer. First, here's what I did. I hand washed everything in Woolite, and everything washed perfectly. The paint, the glue, everything. Then I went ahead and I threw it in my machine on a regular cycle. I threw in the apron and the 4 napkins, and the 2 napkins that had black ribbon, each one had one side of black ribbon that came off. So it is possible I just didn't glue it enough. But what actually happened on one of them, and I'm pretty sure this is the reason, is that the cheap fabric like frayed, and the fabric was still glued to the ribbon, but the ribbon was off of the fabric. So I think that the edge of the napkin just got cheap and fell off. So if you're gonna make these napkins, you want to edge them first, you want to sew them, that's fine. All that's good ideas. I also, in hindsight, realized I probably would have got more napkins out of a pillowcase, but you know, live and learn. But the other thing is the painting on the apron, excuse me, lightened up. But I told you guys, if you don't pre-wash the sizing, a lot of times that'll happen. There's sometimes they treat the new materials and chemicals, and the chemicals prevent the paint from adhering so much, but it still looks totally painted. I'm going to insert a picture of what everything looks like. And the other thing is the leaves. So now that I've seen it and now that I've done it, I wouldn't do the leaves without sewing them. Here's why. I shouldn't say that. Let me take that back. The leaves on this particular lousy polyester, the leaves have like sharp edges. And I know that sounds silly, but they do. They're pointy edges, and they actually like pulled fabric. You know, so I probably wouldn't use the leaves on something that I was going to wash. But my intention too with these was to make them like that you can dispose them, because they were 25 cents each, or maybe 30 cents after we add the trims. So that's it. So none of the marker bled, none of the leaves from the apron came off. Everything looks really good actually, considering like that they're that cheap. Oh, whatever. So this one came out the best, and it's funny because this is the one that I said that I would do if I had to do it all over again. If you see from the back, you could still see those raw edges. It looks like after I washed it that I can, it fluffed out some more raw edges so I can trim them some more. And then in this spot where there wasn't a ton of glue and this spot where there wasn't a ton of glue, the polyester actually shrunk more than the ribbon. So there's like a little bit of bump here. Can you see that little bit of bump here? See that? That's because the polyester shrunk and the ribbon didn't.